Professor Mohan Gopal introduced me in his speech. I am the beneficiary of your love and regards. So, thank you very much, Abida, for inviting me to share my views with other panelists to a very enlightened audience. One good thing I must really confess that I have not seen any cell phone ringing. You are actually listening to all the speakers so attentively. Your rapt attention is salutable. Yeah. I've been coming to Calicut University on different occasions and speaking here. Your MP reminded me, I spoke in one of his programs. I had forgotten, but he came up to me and said, yes, you are there in my program. So I feel so relevant that I am not forgotten by Calicut. So thank you so much, Dr. Mohammed Koya, Chair Center. I would like to take this opportunity to extend my good wishes to Munir Saab for his fast recovery, and he should be there quickly among us very soon. Please convey my best wishes, Abida, to Munir Saab. Okay. Thank you so much for your presence in the hall today. I have something to submit to the consideration of the director of Dr. Mohammed Koya Chair for more serious, deeper, relevant research program. I may not make any explosive political speech. I will not make speech which appears to be politically convenient or politically correct, but it has to be theoretically interesting. From this point of view, I hope there are some students, PhD students, research students sitting in the audience, so it might really help them. It also will help the policy makers, social activists, political activists as well. I always make this point that the politicians of all the parties in Kerala are basically intellectuals. Therefore, they actually extend their regards to us. Other parts of the country, intellectuals do not get this affection. They are scared of intellectuals. But I am really happy to note that in this hall and elsewhere, you find this very good treatment being given to the intellectuals who are so-called intellectuals like me. So, something for the chair, Koya Sahab chair. Now, in your topic, you said reaffirming Constitution and citizenship and shared humanity. Now, I would like to expand what is shared humanity. What is humanity, for example? Are the members of minority human? Muslim, Christians, Jains, and others? And if they are, why they are human? This is the question. Why I am human? This fundamental, which sounds to be a philosophical question, but this question has to be answered before you express what is shared humanity. Human and humanity, these are two words. What is humanity? Is humanity human? All these nuance differences have to be laid down. Now, who is a human? A woman human, a Dalit human, a Muslim human, a Christian human, a Jain human, a physically challenged person human? Are animals human? All these are questions which are philosophical, deeply philosophical. And in all the religions, answers have been given. Now let's say why I am a human. Sense of friendship. It's only human who have friends. Do animals produce friendship sense? I'm asking this question to all those people who are environmentalists. said, no, no cell phone, but it's ringing now. Please, 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 for 20 minutes. So, I have a very special quality to love and to be loved. It's only human. Animals can also love, but they also are barbaric. They are also beasts. They also attack. Second quality of being human is that I can rectify, reform myself, rectify my mistakes. Animals don't. Animals don't rectify. They keep on committing mistakes. But human being, does the present government rectify the mistakes is a different question. You can ask this, I'm not answering, I'm not giving so many details to you. You can ask this question to yourself. After you commit mistakes of SI or other things, do you think that you have done wrong? So that question is important. It's a special quality, it is said a reflective quality to realize that you have committed a mistake against women, against minorities, against everybody, against youth. Now, so you have got that special quality to be reflect to you have reason. You have a reason to be friends with others because you want to make this kainat, this world, a beautiful, lovable, aesthetically lovable world, where you do not have any enmity, you don't have hatred, you love. Love is the organizing principle of your humanity. Humanity, therefore, is a condition, and that condition is produced by human beings who love each other. So we want a permanent conditions called humanity, in which you have harmony, peace, love, and no hatred, no violence. And that can be done by a human being. So you have a reason. Being human means you need to have a moral reason to produce this humanity in which you find that you are not threatened by people. You are not put on anxiety mode. Your citizenship is not put on probation. Your citizenship is authentic. No one can change it. So I'll come to that point later. So you have a reason. And this, I think this is what Koya Sahab did. He was wonderful dynamic leadership, He started education system. Why? Because he wanted to impart, communicate human values, isn't it? So you need to think about this, the reason as necessary condition for producing humanity which is lovable, aesthetically very sound. You love stranger as well. You love yourself, you love stranger. Now the other important part of being human is also emotions. I said reason is one part, but emotion is another part. Why are you human? Because you have this ability to feel sorry. You have ability to cry for others, दूसरों के लिए आंसू बहाना, as it is in Hindi. You will not attack. You will cry for others' pain, others' difficulties. When somebody from minority community is being attacked, being harassed, being put to shouldn't we cry? Shouldn't we take objection? You should, because you are a human being. So this is so, and this what at the center as this is ethical challenge. The chair, Koya Sahab chair should really address. And therefore this humanity has to be shared, communicated. That's the share part. Now, but then, why this humanity is not a reality in our country. Why so much of violence? I had a talk in Calicut 6 months back, and I was talking about Bilkis Banu's case. And you remember what she said after so-called justice was done to her? Don't forget, she said, whether I got justice or not, but my burden on my soul has been removed. It was a burden like a big stone, big hill that has been removed. Now, how do you understand this pain? It is her pain, not your pain. I think it is everybody's pain. It is everybody's pain. You don't want to share her pain. And you celebrate people who have done wrongs to her. What kind of society we have? Are we really human? You are endorsing the crime against humanity. Why crime against humanity? Because you don't have that ability to cry for Bilkis Banu. And we are asking this question to ourselves and to the others. Because law will take its own course, but your ethical duty, obligation is to say sorry for the crime that you may not have done yourself. But you must have that special ethical stamina, capacity to say sorry. Okay, this is what is required as a part of humanity. Now, you come across several incidences like this, and you are actually challenged ethically to say something about. Therefore, the primary condition of being human is to being humble. You have to be humble. You must really develop that capacity to be humble. Now, not in speech, but in your practice. Now, in the regime of bulldozer, you have no language of being humble. You have punitive language. Punish. I am saying regime of bulldozer. Not a good sign of being human. So how can you be humble? This is the question that one should really ask to ourselves and to others. That is, humility and humbleness is threatened by politics. Next. And that I will cover in my, how much time I have? 10 minutes? Okay. I'm not really provoking people politically. I'm just taking them deep into what is the constitution of a self, or what is the constitution being humble and being human. Now, politics is intersecting. Politics is disturbing your being humble. It doesn't allow you to remain humble. It makes you aggressive, attacking. There are organizations they pump into you some language which is very, very arrogant, very violent. But citizenship is one area where you can actually bring in some humility into politics. That is the job of citizenship, to mediate, to soften, to modify your anger, your arrogance, your hatred, all your, asymmetries in your mind. You can modify them, you can rectify them with the help of citizenship. As Mohan And you know, Mohan, Abhida, you know how many days before I gave this paper to you? And Mohan Gopal is actually speaking the same language I'm speaking in my paper. And he is making that important point. You know, some people are not even human. And why to talk about equal humanity, shared humanity? You let them arrive at the stage of being human, and then only you can talk about. There are two stages therefore. Allow them to become human, and he was talking to the untouchables, and you making reference to that, Rajesh. And of course, Kerala is a story. When there was a distance, untouchable was polluting for 65 feet away from here only. You are unsayable, you are untouchable, you are unteachable, as they say. You are not giving any chance to people to become human. And Dr. Ambedkar in 1927, I'm just giving one small reference of Ambedkar. 1927 at Mahad, he said, dogs and cats can drink water from tank, but not human being. So you are less than animal, so you are not human. So this is the stage, and Mohan Gopal has made a very important point there. But he also made point about citizenship, and he made gradations, 5 gradations. Now, I also made some gradations in my paper. Category 1, category 2, category 3. First of all, you have to answer this question. In order to be citizens, you have to be there, existing in the electoral roll. How can you talk about citizenship if your name is not there in this electoral roll? Just because you require a person existing so that you can discriminate against that person. So existence becomes a primary precondition for discrimination to become a possibility. You can discriminate against people who should be there, physically present, existed. You can't be citizen when your name is registered in the electoral roll. If there are, for any reason, any operation, 65 lakh people being deleted, what can they do? Can they re-talk about citizenship? And therefore citizenship, the gradation becomes secondary. Your role, your enrollment in the electoral list becomes very primary. Now, therefore, government decides the citizenship. They can delete on some grounds. Some people are dead, so you have to delete their name. Some people have left their citizenship and they went to some other country, you can delete. So there are conditions in government, in the constitution. But if you're not giving good reasons for deletion, then there is a problem. You must offer some good reasons. But that's not the point. The point is that who is saying you are not a citizen? It's not state, it is people. People from the majority community who say, show me documents. Who are these people? Why should they take authority to themselves and ask people from minority community to show documents? And then they say, kagaz nahi dikhayenge. Kagaz nahi dikhayenge. Who are you? Who has given you this authority to ask documents from us? We will not give. Why should we give? But that is a real problem. Because civil society in this country has become a state. That's a big problem. You're talking about power, Rajesh. The power is seeping into the civil society. Where you find some members of the majority community are becoming state themselves, asking the minority members, kagaz dikhao. Who are you? Is the question that is really very, very bothering. And the last point I would say is very important. In politics, electoral politics, the citizens have a right to vote for any party, and their political credibility, their political worth is because they have voting right. And it is always appreciable for the political leaders, candidates to approach everybody. Every citizen is entitled to enjoy equal political attention. I am repeating this point. For the students, every citizen having right to vote is entitled to enjoy equal political attention. ये note कर लेना. I mean, this is I want you to note this. We don't really discuss in political science, political theory. Even politicians don't discuss this. Politicians should come to your locality and ask for votes, whichever party they are. If that is the ethical obligation, I will not go to Dalit colony because they are untouchables. I will not vote. I will not demand for votes. I will not ask for votes. When the candidate from the party, majority party, says, I don't require your vote, I don't need your help, I don't need your vote, what kind of feeling does it communicate to a person who is from a minority community? It is really very humiliating for a person to get such kind of very arrogant expression from the candidate who is from the majority community. And I have heard them. I don't require your, he goes to the minority communities, I don't require your, this is the body language, I don't require your vote. So this is something completely unethical and violation of your citizenship rights. Now my question is, this is the language of the arrogant. Should the minority candidate use the same language? Can he say the same language? The answer is no. He has to take a lead to look here, I want to give new norms of how to conduct election campaign, how to make it more democratic. So the challenge before the minority candidate is to say, look here, I am the one who will take lead, struggle for universal norms of citizenship, universal principle of democracy, and the fundamental values of Indian Constitution. These are all interconnected. And Professor Bhikkhu Parekh, who is a very leading philosopher, we all learn from him. So you have an obligation to citizens. Approach him, irrespective of his caste, gender, caste, religion, language. Approach him, because he deserves that approach. And you have an obligation to not only your own members of the community, but also the strangers. And this only will enrich, deepen the meaning of citizenship. I stop here. Thank you so much.
We can actually collect some questions. ചോദ്യങ്ങൾ മലയാളത്തിലായാലും ചോദിക്കാം. ചോദ്യങ്ങളുണ്ട് എന്ന് വളരെ വ്യക്തമാണ്. So that you can ask questions. Please hand over the mic to the people who raised the vote. Yeah.
Hello, Professor. So at this point of time, while we are fighting against this Brahmanical Hindutva force, there is a need of unity. And one such unity is the Dalit Muslim unity. Overall Bahujan unity. And we see some of it across campus spaces, right? So how do you look at it in terms of its possibilities, challenges, and the need of it? I would just love to hear your thoughts on Dalit Muslim solidarity Also, if you could touch upon the point where many leftists and rightists point out to Ambedkar's writing of Pakistan or the partition of India to say that it wouldn't really be feasible. So, would love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, this is the question raised by my friends from university campuses, college campuses, which is a very valid question. Should we really desire for the Muslim Dalit unity? One question. And second, what was the second question? Oh yes. Let's take the first question first. There is a gross misreading of Baba Sahib Ambedkar on Pakistan. And those people who want to develop a narrative against the minorities will say that Ambedkar had a different view on Pakistan. He said, Pakistan is good for them, not for Hindus. That's the suggestion. But Pakistan and partition, that volume, he is actually suggesting the creation of new nation based not on religion. He is not suggesting the creation of Pakistan on the basis of religion. And he was deeply a liberal thinker, how can you really expect him to use theocracy, theology, as the basis for, theocratic basis as the basis of a nation? He said a nation has a right to exist on democratic principle. Democracy and people's opinion is important and not religion. So they have got a right to be democratic on their own and let them become democratic. So democracy is one central principle which is the basis of the partition and not any other reason. That it is there in his volume on Pakistan and partition on so many pages in a very clear language. Let us not. That's his original position in the text. Now, but the first question is about the unity. Now, I won't say it is Muslim and Dalit. I would say any unity is desirable which is based on the human principles. We would put two criteria to think about this unity. What is the first criteria? You have to have this ability. You must develop art of listening to the pains of others, as I mentioned to you in case of the Bilkis Banu. You must share the pain of others. See yourself in the image of others. Not as Muslim or not as Dalit or as a woman, but you are a human being, you have concern. That is just natural. You must really, that should be your basis of solidarity. It should not be a pragmatic basis just because there's somebody who is attacking you. You have to deal with that particular attack on an everyday basis, but you have to also forge unity on very fundamental principles like how do you behave with each other? How do you behave with each other? Do you consider them as human beings? Just let me know how many friends are there among the Muslims and the Dalits. Is there a friendship? Actually, friendship is a much improved version of fraternity. Fraternity is a small version. Friendship is important. So are they friends? Unconditional friends. Not because I'm your friend because you are helping me. I'm your friend just because you are from my caste, my religion, my language. That is not friendship. You are my friend because also you are human being like me. And we share that concern. So that should be a broader principle of unity. And I wouldn't say it is Dalit, Muslim or Bahujan. That's my very what a substantive answer to your question.
ഇന്ത്യ രാജ്യത്ത് പിന്നെ 18-19 നൂറ്റാണ്ടുകളിൽ തന്നെ ഇന്ത്യയിലെ വിവിധ സംസ്ഥാനങ്ങളിൽ ബുദ്ധ ചൈന പ്രാതിനിധ്യം വളരെ കൃത്യമായിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു എന്ന് ആർക്കിയോളജിക്കൽ സർവേ ഓഫ് കർണാടകയ്ക്ക് കീഴിലും അതുപോലെ തന്നെ കേരളത്തിന് കീഴിലും ഒരുപാട് ബുദ്ധക്ഷേത്രങ്ങളാലും പ്രതിമകളാലും കണ്ടെത്തിയിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. അപ്പോൾ എന്തുകൊണ്ട് ഇന്ത്യയിൽ ആ ഒരു ബുദ്ധ ചൈന പരമ്പര നഷ്ടപ്പെട്ടു പോയത്, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അവർക്കെതിരായിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു കൊളോണിയൽ വൽക്കരണങ്ങളോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ എന്തെങ്കിലും ഭരണകൂട ഭീകരതകളോ ഒന്നും ഇല്ലാതെ ഈ ബ്രിട്ടീഷ് ഇന്ത്യ മുതൽക്ക് തന്നെ ഈ ബുദ്ധ ചൈന പ്രാതിനിധ്യം ജനസംഖ്യാടിസ്ഥാനത്തിൽ തന്നെ കുറഞ്ഞതിൻ്റെ കാരണം എന്താണെന്നുള്ളതാണ്. എന്നാൽ ആർക്കിയോളജിക്കൽ സർവേയുമായിട്ട് ബന്ധപ്പെട്ടിട്ട് വളരെ നല്ല ഒരു പ്രാതിനിധ്യവും പ്രചാരവും ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു ഈ രണ്ടിനും എന്ന് ഈ തെളിവുകളിലൂടെ അടിസ്ഥാനത്തിൽ കാണുന്നുമുണ്ട്. ശരി.
I mean, that's a long question and doesn't really have bearing on citizenship and all. It's a history question, and there are, I would suggest that you must read, are you a student? He must be a student, I think. Yeah, so please read D.D. Kosambi's work on why Buddhism disappeared from India in the 6th century. So I don't have, I have an answer, but there's no time for me to really elaborate on this. Sorry for this. But I can suggest, you can meet me after this talk is over and I can suggest some books to you, okay? If you want.
Time. So we take only one question. We can interact with Gopal Guru outside, having a tea, and we will have a chat. Yeah.
Take this.
Yeah, you can ask. You ask. Yeah.
Take this. People want to listen to you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, it was very thought-provoking talk you have delivered. We are very grateful to you, sir. One of the striking point you made was when a government or party in a political system, they effectively silences your voices by saying that you don't count in our narratives, or your vote is not at all counted. So what would be the solution for that particular community who are being defranchised or de-citizenized, or saying that you are not at all going to matter in our narratives? Electorally, politically, you are nothing. So in that scenario, what kind of solutions we have?
Yeah.
So that is my concern.
Thank you. A solution like, it's a very deep solution. As Mohan Gopal gave the deep solution, I will also give the deep solution. It's a very theoretical solution. Why people are arrogant? Why they say, I don't require your votes? Because that candidate has already assured his own support. And he has actually communally mobilized people in majority. And he used all the symbols of that religion to consolidate his own voting bank, so to say. So he's very sure about the voting bank. Our job is, because we as minority have no control. We have our own voting banks. We can send 3-4 MPs, but that is important. They can raise the voice. But we want to change the entire, we want to take a hold of the entire politics. I, as the member of the minority community, how do I empower myself to take a hold of the entire politics of the country? This can be done only you touch upon certain universal problems. One problem is unemployment, other problem is farmers, other problem is security, women. All these are problems which exist across religions, caste. What is that common organizing principle is your common problem. What is the common problem? What happens if constitution disappears? There will be a chaos, isn't it? So we don't want a country to enter into a chaos. We want to save it. So that's a common problem. And therefore, you should contest the election on these problems. You may not get results because people are attracted towards your ethical identity, your ethical inclinations. They are very close to your caste and religion than your other consideration. You have to demobilize them from their caste, religion, and then become universal. As Koya Sahib was actually hinting at that. His thrust of education was to go to the universal. And how do you go to the universal? You have to start from here. Mobilizing people. I mean, don't bring closure on yourself, thinking. Open up. And that has become very difficult now. You know, you have to draw out a very big, long strategy. But no, I said art of listening. You must listen to the other's pain. But we have developed art of suspicion. You are so suspicious. Art of suspicion, art of listening. This is the German philosopher, Karl Jasper. So, anyway, it's a big project for all of us. Maybe I'm not making a direct sense. I'm not politically correct. I'm a theoretically confused person. But we can discuss this. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, sir, for a very interesting session. I just want to remind certain things.